welcome to Matinee Heroes presents CastOFF. I am your host, Craig Price. Welcome to the show. It has been the longest week in the longest year in the history of the world, and so I'm glad you're here to help blow off some steam as we recast Suicide Squad. This is the show where we take two contestants, they battle each other out, recasting some of your favorite actors in movies that you love. And tonight is no different. We've got two great guys waiting for it. Before we start, let's do a quick recap because we have already started the playoffs. The playoffs are unlike last year, the playoffs start almost immediately. And we had Randy Redacted and Derek McCaw battling it out for Air Force One, and Randy maintained his reign of terror as he demolishes people left and right, but it was a squeaker. He won only by a point last week, but it's going to be a bloodbath as far as Randy's concerned. We'll see him in the second round sometime at the beginning of the year. So, but we still have two great players for you today. Let's get with them as we start Game 2. There we go. I paid good money for the music. We gotta play it. All right. And in this corner, returning champion, not necessarily, Richard Jensen. And newbie, as this is the newbie bracket, Joey Jones, son of a Gundam. Gentlemen, how are you, sir? Sirs, I should say.
Well, I'm still breathing, so I got that going for me.
And Joey, how are you? I'm getting there. My computer is acting extra cranky today.
I am doing fantastic. Everything that I could have hoped for out of this week has happened, and couldn't ask for anything more.
Well, great. As soon as my computer catches up with us, we will talk to individuals. We'll start with Richard. Again, it's just the thing is just driving me crazy. I need a production assistant. If you know anybody who wants to do this for a living, for free, let me know. So, Richard, welcome back to the show. How the Celtic films, a raging Celt? What's going on here?
Celtic Ray Film Works.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 3 shorts playing on Amazon Prime. Cuck, You Think You're Better Than Me, and Beware of the Bada Boop. They're all on Amazon Prime if you want to check those out. Also, I've just recently launched a one-man podcast called Another White Guy with a Mic. It's currently available on Stitcher and Spotify. We haven't gotten on Apple's yet because of some sort of technical issue there. But it's just basically me pontificating on whatever topic goes on for about between 10 to 20 minutes.
All right, another white guy with a mic. That's just what the world needs. Because you know what?
That's the title. That's why it's the title.
White guys don't have a platform. I wish they did. I wish male.
We have been unrepresented too long.
Yeah, especially since there's.
I think this is going to be our decade. White guys are going to start shining again.
Oh, Jesus, that's the scariest thought I've had all day.
I'm sorry. I meant that in a self-deprecating way.
Let's move on to another fellow white guy. Someone that I have been doing a D&D game with, but Joey, you recently got engaged.
I did.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Yep, we're getting married January 9th. Little tiny wedding. Nebraska, where I live, they just instituted a whole bunch of more mandates. So probably because the governor just got exposed to COVID. But
also, they waited until after the election. Utah just did the same thing. They had no masks, no mandates. I don't want to push anything on anybody. A week after, the day after Joe Biden is announced, they're like, well, we're going to put some mandates. I won re-election, so you can't not vote for me again.
better get good with the president right now, you know?
Yeah. So explain what you do on Twitch as Son of a Gundam.
So on Twitch, I just started setting it up. I just got my webcams in today. I am setting up a stream where I build Gundam models.
Oh, okay. So this is you doing some handiwork. You're actually building things. It's not playing video games. It's not doing stupid game shows.
Well, I still play video games and stuff. Don't get me wrong. I will still be streaming games, but for the most part, it's going to be there's going to be a set schedule of me building Gundams.
Well, We're glad to have you on for the first time. It's good to see you. But let's get on with the game, because people aren't here to listen to you talk about building robots. Well, some of them might be. We've got a large nerd contingent. But let's talk about the rules of the game. They're fairly simple. I'm going to name an actor. You are going to give me a replacement. The best choice wins a point. If you happen to pick my secret selection, that's an additional point. Now, just to let you know, sometimes the secret selection and the best choice are not the same. Sometimes they are, so that's 2 points. But the reason why they're not the same is because we have 2 extra additional judges, Brendan Agnew and Brandon Ushio. Obviously, whoever has the most points wins. And if there's a tie, double feature to win, and I'll explain that if and when that happens. But let's talk about Brendan Agnew and Brandon Ushio, because they are going to be on this week's upcoming episode of Matinee Heroes as we talk about Chadwick Boseman, Harrison Ford, and 42. So, as always, this show is brought to you by Matinee Heroes, and you can go to matineeheroes.com/subscribe to the podcast if you want to subscribe to the audio. But also, if you like what you see here, please, you can go to YouTube, Matinee Heroes, sign up. But if you can't figure out where we are, you can go to matineeheroes.com/CastOFF, where you can see previous results from Season 1. You can follow us along on the bracket for Season 2. And you'll find how you can subscribe to Twitch. You can subscribe to YouTube and all that good stuff. But let's get on to the game as we talk about the Suicide Squad. All right. Now, is this a movie you two actually enjoy? Joey?
Yeah. I can't speak for Joey. But...
It was terrible.
Okay.
I tell you what, I watched it twice. The first time I fell asleep.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Yeah, not good. It takes a lot for me to be that uninterested in a movie.
And as we'll see from some of the picks that Richard does, you don't watch new movies, do you, Richard? You spend most of your time in 1958.
I will say I have a pretty healthy mixture of both both new movies and old. I like to mix it up in my life. But I will just say this about Suicide Squad. It's like somebody licked a Marvel movie and rolled it around in an ashtray.
Well, that's just wonderful. But thankfully, James Gunn is involved in the second one, so I'm hoping it'll vastly improve. It can't get much worse. It can't get much worse. But we have already decided who goes first. And Richard, you are going to go first as we recast Will Smith's Deadshot. So who do you have playing Deadshot?
Well, I didn't. Now, Will Smith wasn't bad in the movie, but I don't really buy him as kind of a cold-blooded killer type. There's not enough that's kind of broken about him. So I kind of went with somebody who has a more darker presence, and I went with Don Cheadle.
Okay. Don Cheadle, again, everything's going so fast today on this. I got to figure out what's going on with my machine because I can't even get the things to move. Yeah, Don Cheadle's great. Often known as a buddy. He is usually the hero's best friend, as we've seen in Captain America: Civil War, Boogie Nights, Swordfish. Every once in a while, he'll jump in a front role in like Hotel Rwanda, where he'll kill it. But why do you think Don Cheadle versus it would be better than Will Smith?
I just think there's something. And this is kind of the difference between movie stars and actors. Is Don Cheadle's more of an actor than a movie star. With Smith, there's a kind of smoothness about him. There's more likability. Now, Cheadle's fairly likable, but at the same time, he's afraid not to be unlikable, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Well, one thing we do know, he's far more likable than Terrence Howard, as Iron Man 2 and 3 has shown us. So, Joey, beat that, my friend.
Okay, so I went a little off kilter. I chose Pedro Pascal. One, he's just got off done being the Mandalorian.
Yep.
He killed it as the Mandalorian. And he was also wonderful in Game of Thrones. I think that he would be a great pick. Also, if you look at the comic book art for Deadshot, he looks almost exactly like him.
So you're going back to the origins of the comic for this, not necessarily recasting anybody. I thought he's very charming in The Golden Circle. Mm-hmm. I did not see him in Bloodsucking Bastards, but I always like that whenever someone's on top of the world like Pedro Pascal is right now, he's like He owns everything. He's the main reason Star Wars exists. I like to remind him that the blood-sucking bastards and the Great Wall exist out there, so he's not perfect. So let's take a look. Richard went with Don Cheadle. Joey went with Pedro Pascal. I was looking for a John David Washington type, because I think that's a man. I think Deadshot's a man. John David Washington's a man. Well, he comes from the loins of Denzel Washington, so it's definitely going to be a man there. But the judges went with Don Cheadle.
Oh! Over Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Well, he's been in Spider-Man and John Carter, both that you can find here at Matinee Heroes. So if you go to matineeheroes.com, look in our back catalog, you could listen to us talk about those movies. I personally loved him in Shadow of the Vampire, where he played the original Nosferatu. Creepy AF, but then he's creepy AF in everything he does, poor guy.
The first thing I actually saw him in was Boondock Saints, and that is a weird movie with him in it.
Yes, it's a great movie too, though, but it is super weird.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was living in Texas at the time, and someone came into my office with a bootleg DVD, and because it's based in Boston and I'm from that area, they're like, "Oh, Craig, you'll love this movie." And at first I felt, shut up, you racist. But they were right. I'm from Boston. I love that movie. So maybe some stereotypes are true. So, Richard, who have you got going up against Willem Dafoe?
I've got a pretty good one. Again, I kind of went a little farther back in time, and I picked somebody who, if they had done a dark version of Batman in the 60s, would have been perfect for it, John Cassavetes.
Oh, yeah, this one's so far
Alexa,
back.
Stop it. Sorry.
So this one was so far back, I had a hard time finding a color picture of him that wasn't him 75 years old. So John Cassavetes, independent film icon as a director. He was in The Dirty Dozen, which we Matinee Heroes did, Rosemary's Baby, The Edge of Shadows. His son may be more recognizable for some of our viewers, Nick Cassavetes, who not only was he the director of The Notebook, but he was in Face Off. So that's a kind of an odd situation there. So let's.
Yeah, but Cassavetes has that kind of level of intensity to him as an actor.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Plus, this you can't see it in this picture, but in a lot of films, he does have that kind of very angular face that the Joker has.
Yeah, right now he looks like one of my cousins. So you're right. He looks like that's like Craig's uncle from 1968. But
that picture's got a little baby fat on it.
He's got a little bit, but it's the only one I could find in color. So that's one thing. But he definitely was crazy in The Dirty Dozen. So Joey had Willem Dafoe, John Cassavetes for Richard. Winner, chicken dinner. Joey picked mine as well. So that's a point for you. The judges also went with Willem Dafoe. So Joey goes from no points to taking the lead with 2 points. And it's just that quick. This is how this game works.
Wow.
You can be far behind.
It's going to be a squeaker.
So,
now we move on to what I would say is the it girl right now, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. You can't go to a Comic-Con without knocking into nine of these girls.
Mm-hmm.
So, Richard, you had a very interesting pick for Harley Quinn. Who do you have?
Well, part of it was when I decided to go on John Cassavetes as the Joker. I thought we need somebody blonde, but with a kind of mania about her, who would be perfect match for Cassavetes. And suddenly you go Jenna Rollins.
Absolutely. And once again, to find a picture of Jenna Rollins at the right age in color was difficult, but I found this one, and all you have to do is give her ponytails. I think she's got the look. She's definitely known for being a tough, exceptional actress as she was in Gloria. Gloria is probably what you were thinking of.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. But she's just, you put Jenna Rollins in anything, it's money in the bank. She is solid, and she is a force of nature.
Yeah.
And again, Cassavetes and Rollins as Joker and Harley Quinn. I mean, here's my money. Make that movie. Make that movie.
And built-in charisma, built-in connection.
Exactly.
So let's move on to Joey. Joey, who do you have battling it out with Gina Rowlands as Harley Quinn.
I went with Caitlin Olsen from It's Always Sunny.
Now, ooh, someone does not agree with you.
All right. Yeah, Gunnar does not agree with me. That's my dog.
So
You must prefer brunettes.
yes, Caitlin Olsen, mostly known for her sarcastic ways in sarcastic comedies, which is It's Always Funny and Sunny in Philadelphia. She was in The Heat with not the Robert De Niro movie, but she was in Heat with Melissa McCarthy, the new Vacation movie, and played a cameo. I wouldn't even call it a cameo. She was a walk-on on Coyote Ugly.
I tell you why I chose her is because comedic timing is not easy to come by. It's not something you can teach, not really. It's something that flows naturally from someone. You can teach someone how to act pretty easily. Comedic timing is really important. And Harley Quinn is a funny character. She is.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you watch her in the cartoon that's on the DC Universe, played by Kelly Kuko, or whatever how you say her last name. She's super funny in that. So, Harley Quinn. We've gone old school with Gina Rowlands. We've gone mid school with Caitlin Olsen because she's been around for a long time. I forget that Always Sunny's been on for almost 2 decades. I was thinking of an Amanda Seyfried kind, a pixie-ish kind of bubbly, because she's kind of an idiot on the outside, but she's really a hardcore psychopath on the inside. Our judges went with Gina Rowlands.
Yeah.
It's hard when you have that caliber of an actress. So now we move on to Joel Kinnaman's Colonel Randall Flagg. Colonel. So Joey, who? Now there you go. Tom Hardy. Dark Knight Rises, Dunkirk, Mad Max Fury Road, Inception. All of these movies we've done on Matinee Heroes. I didn't realize how much of a Tom Hardy fan we are, despite the fact that he is a mumble mouth. And so if he's got to wear a mask over his face, but this one he'll actually be exposed. You'll actually hear him and talk to him.
Oh yeah. He was the original choice. The only reason he didn't do it was because he had previous obligations in the Revenant. That's it.
Yeah, and that one
was just a timing issue.
That was crazy. That he was stuck in the woods with Leonardo DiCaprio being raped by a bear.
Too true.
So, Richard beat Tom Hardy.
Well, I think I've got a pretty good choice. Now, since the Dirty Dozen riff, I figured let's go back to the Dirty Dozen and let's go with the original badass, Mr. Lee Marvin.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to fight with because Lee Marvin, he is the badass.
Oh.
Even though he can sing in Cat Ballou, but he's known for mostly for military movies and for westerns. But no matter what, he's not the soft-spoken. He's not a cuck, as you would title one of your movies.
Oh. Currently available on Amazon Prime.
Jeez. Good job. Good plug there. You're doing a great job. Hopefully you'll get at least
every day I'm hustling. You know what I'm saying?
At least 2 clicks. Someone's going to watch it for at least 15 seconds tonight, I hope.
It's a very funny short. I think they'll stay for the whole thing.
I do too. I said at least. That's what that word. So we got Colonel Rick Flagg. Joey went with Tom Hardy. Richard went with Lee Marvin. I was looking for a Timothy Oliphant part because when you need someone in authority, whether he's the marshal on The Mandalorian, whether he's the marshal on Fargo, whether he's the marshal in Justified, whether he's the marshal in Deadwood, he is a military man all the way. Our judges went with Lee Marvin as Richard takes the lead. So far,
I'm still in it.
You're definitely still in it. With you have at least 6 points still left on the board. A potential of 6 points. Absolutely, you're still in it. You're only down by 1. So now we get to the badass. Of all the people that are crazy psychopaths in this movie, I believe that Viola Davis is the most effective. Her character, Amanda Waller, is crazy. So, and she's the one that puts everybody in charge. So, Richard, who do you have who's in charge of bankrolling and they answer to her? She is the Charlie to these not-so-quite angels.
This was a tough one because Viola Davis is literally one of the best things in this movie. She's solid. She is with somebody who's equally solid, Alfie Woodard.
Absolutely. I mean, and she's not unfamiliar with superhero movies. She was
Civil War.
She was in Civil War. She did Luke Cage, the television series. Now, 12 Years a Slave is not a superhero movie, but she was in Scrooged. She played the secretary of Bill Murray. She has been consistently awesome since she appeared on screen. Yeah, she would be great. Joey, that one's going to be hard to beat. So do you have someone?
I do, and I went with, and I'm probably going to murder her name, Denai Guerrera.
Now, there you go. Now, I just wanted to show you for a second because I don't want to. I want to see that happy mug and that big luscious beard. But let me see if, again, my computer's acting up today. So she's fantastic as well. If you don't know, Danny Guerrera, she is in Black Panther. She is in The Walking Dead. She's going to be in Godzilla vs. Kong that was supposed to be out in March, then was supposed to be out in November, and now is supposed to come out next year. She can definitely do it all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, good choice. She's good.
Yeah, both of these are really top-notch. Alfred Woodard versus Danny Guerrera. I was thinking of a Christine Adams, if you don't know who she is. She is the tall drink of water in Black Lightning. She was on Doctor Who. She was on that Stephen Lang dinosaur planet movie television show that was on Fox. She is a goddess and is amazing, so she would be tough as nails, too. We talked to the judges, and they said, well, you got to give it to Danny Guerrero.
Yeah.
All right. So now we move on to, now I'm going to have a hard time saying his name, so let's give me a second. It is Adewale Kinowe Agbaje as Killer Croc. Now, I think I said that right, and if I didn't, I absolutely apologize. I practiced it over and over again, and I still think I screwed that one up. So Joey, this one's going to be a little bit different because you're dealing with someone in prosthetics. So
yeah,
who do you have playing Killer Croc?
Yeah, I think this was probably the worst representation of the comic book character in the film. I did not like it. I went with Andy Serkis. If you want somebody to play a monster,
of course you did.
Andy Serkis.
And specifically why I have him in his motion capture, because he would be doing this with motion capture because he's the master.
Yeah.
And here he is. He was in Lord of the Rings as Gollum. That one put him on the motion capture map. He played King Kong. He played Caesar in Planet of the Apes. And, of course, he played an executive in 13 Going on 30. So you know he's got range.
Yeah. The thing about Killer Croc in the Suicide Squad is it suffers from the Spider-Man 3 Venom syndrome. Nothing like the actual character.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yep. Yeah, he's not. He's just a guy that's got a bad skin condition.
Yep.
And then every once in a while eats somebody. So he's more like a snake than he is a crocodile.
Yeah.
Well, Joey, I don't know if you went the motion capture way. Who did you pick?
You mean Richard?
Richard, I'm sorry.
Nah, that's fine. That's fine. Fine. We look alike. Well, I went, again, old school with this one. I picked somebody for their size and their voice. I went with Broadway mainstay Jeffrey Holder.
This is as old school as you can get if you're a kid from the 80s, because this guy was the 7-Up spokesman. That's where most of us remember him from. But he was also Punjab and Annie. Most recently, he's passed on, but the most recent thing he did was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He was the narrator. He's got the voice. Oh, he's got the voice. You're right. He's got the stature. I think that'd be a fantastic. I think both of these would be fantastic. So let's go to the tail of the tape. Andy Serkis, the master, someday is got to be given an honorary Lifetime Achievement Award at the Oscars. If he's not, I'm going to burn the place down.
Oh, same.
Yeah, Jeffrey Holder. He's going to be more. So this is going to be motion capture versus prosthetics, as I see it. The vibe I'm getting from you guys. You guys don't know who this guy is. He's my buddy, Tate Fletcher. He played the first guy the Mandalorian fought in season 1. He's also the body double for the heavy weapons Mandalorian, and I met him last year at EmpireCon, which is not happening in December this year. Great guy, great stuntman. You have no one was ever going to win this one, but I wanted to give Tate Fletcher some love because he's awesome. Our judges conferred. They talked it over. Jeffrey Holder. They were old school.
Yes!
So, the score is 4-3.
I'm sorry, I'm being insufferable.
You are being very insufferable.
I'm sorry.
So
it's just last time I got so shellacked last time that I'm pleasantly surprised I'm doing well now.
And deservedly so. You went with a theme, and it was so out of whack that you deserved the shellacking, but you have definitely redeemed yourself regardless of the outcome. But it is 4-3. Joey, you still have a chance to tie, or if you match me, you have a chance to win. So it is definitely within grasp. So now we move on to our final person. This is Cara Delevingne as the Enchantress, which, if there's ever a person who embodies heroin chic, it is Cara Delevingne. She always...
Absolutely.
I don't even think
I liked her in Valerian, but not this.
Well, I don't even think this is makeup. I think this is how she showed up to the set.
Oh.
So, Richard,
Nasty.
who do you have playing the mystical risen from the dead? I don't know exactly what she's doing. The character is so badly written, I don't understand her motivations, but who do you have as the Enchantress?
This time, I went old school. I went with somebody with a little more personality, with a little more pop. I went with Natalie Wood.
Oh, you went old school and sexy goddess, Natalie Wood.
Yeah.
Look how beautiful she is. She's amazing.
Hoo-ah!
Yeah, a true Hollywood starlet. So look at these movies. Rebel Without a Cause, all-timer. She was a kid in Miracle on 34th Street, all-timer. The Searchers, all-timer. She was Maria. Nobody can solve a girl like Maria in West Side Story. So,
And I've got to put in a quick plug. I don't know if it's still on Criterion, but she's terrific in Paul Mazursky's Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
oh yeah, I was going to put that one, but I didn't think it would fit on the screen. And let's not forget Heart to Heart, the television show that she used to do.
Actually, that was Stephanie Powers.
Oh, that was Stephanie Powers. And wasn't Natalie Wood like the first? I'm thinking of Robert Wagner. Robert Wagner likes he has a type.
Yep.
And I am not saying whether or not he did horrible things.
I'm
So Joey, you have like I said, a true Hollywood starlet to compete against. You've got to come up with somebody that is not necessarily better than her, but a better fit. So who do you have competing with Natalie Wood?
I went with one of my all-time favorite actresses. My favorite movie is The Fifth Element, and that was her breakout role. Mila Jovovich.
And I misspelled it because it should be an O versus an A, but Mila Jovovich is amazing. She is the queen of kick butt. Like I said, The Fifth Element, all the Resident Evils. She was in the Hellboy movie that just came out. So I think she would do it because she's got the same. I don't know if Natalie Wood can kick butt. I know she can stand there and look awesome, but I know Mila can stand there and look awesome and then kill everybody in the room.
Oh yeah. She's got that killer look. Also, she again going back to my earlier pick, she is a dead ringer for the comic book character.
Okay. I don't know what the Enchantress looks like. I in the comics, but that's okay. So we've got the amazing Natalie Wood. We've got the stunning and talented Mila Jovovich, which I did spell right here. I was looking for a Tilda Swinton. So
I almost picked her.
So, well, sorry, Joey. That means you didn't get a tie right there. So the judges went and looked, and they talked it over. And they were thinking, is it Natalie Wood, who is this amazing woman, an all-timer who died too soon? Or is it Mila Jovovich, who some of her movies probably should have died too soon? And again, both Brendan Agnew and Brandon Uccio and myself all discussed this, as we discussed right before we went on for 42. And we wanted to, I thought maybe Richard could win it, maybe Joey, first timer.
Well, don't just get on with it.
Well, we gave it to
Say the
Minnesota,
name.
and it is a tie.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is a tie.
Ooh.
So let's talk about the tiebreaker.
Mm.
Here are the tiebreaker rules. Higher seed calls the flip. That's Richard. You get to call the flip. And I'll show you what we're going to flip in a second. Whoever wins the flip, you are going to name a movie you think will be a good double feature with this, and only name the movie. Then I'll go to the other person. They will name their movie. I will go back to the first person. You will get 60 seconds to defend your pick, and then I alone will be arbiter of the who wins. And this is why I hate ties, because then it's all up to me. So let me show you what we're going to flip here. This is how high tech we are. If I can just get it to come here. Here we go. So let's get it close. This is my Lego Batman stand, because it's the Suicide Squad. Batman does show up for like 2 seconds. Richard, Batman is heads. No Batman is tails.
Batman.
What are you calling? What are you calling?
I'm calling Batman.
All right. So. Oh, it was, I'm sorry, it was tails. So Joey goes first. Joey.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What is your double feature?
Okay, explain it to me one more time.
You have a movie theater, and
Okay.
we're gonna show the Suicide Squad and what?
Ooh. The Suicide Squad and
Come on, just pick anything now. We got 5.
The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got The Dark Knight Rises. We go with you, Richard. Name the movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
All right. So now we go back. Dark Knight Rises. Why?
It was the first thing that I thought of. It's another DC comic book movie, and it's one of my favorite ones.
Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy. Why? Volume
Again,
2.
it's got that same thing as Suicide Squad. It's a dynamic of a group of misfits who come together and form a surrogate family.
Well, I'm thinking it over. I have decided, and today's winner is. I'm waiting for the machine to show it because I don't want to say it out loud. Come on, push to live, Richard, because you explained it perfectly. You had all the reasons why, and also throw in the aspect of James Gunn, who's going to be doing the sequel, the Volume 2.
That's what I was thinking too.
I think you've got something there where we can show before and after and what to expect. So, Richard, you have won. Any final thoughts?
I wish to thank the Academy. This is a grand honor. Joey, you fought well. I honestly thought for a couple minutes I was going to go down, but you were a worthy opponent.
You
have nothing. You were solid.
You were solid, Joey, but not today. It's just not your day, man. And so, with that being said, Richard, you move on to round 2, and now we have to talk about next week. Next week we have Game 3, and that is the Veterans Group with Tracy Mangum versus Steve Kondrick. And I have picked a movie for the ages for them. I'm sure they're going to love me for picking the wonderful, the talented, the musically oriented Pitch Perfect.
I'm glad I got Suicide Squad.
Right now, you're both going, thank God I got Suicide Squad. Yes, absolutely.
I actually haven't seen it. I've heard it's a good movie. It's just... And God knows I have the worst schoolboy crush on Anna Kendrick
All right, let's not talk about that. It gets gross when you start talking about your crushes. So, if you've liked what you've seen, you can go to Twitter at Matinee Heroes. You can sign up and subscribe to us at twitch.tv/Matinee Heroes. You can go to the facebook.com/group/Matinee Heroes. Or, of course, you can go to matineeheroes.com/CastOFF. We will see you next week when we talk about Pitch Perfect. And thank you guys for listening, and thanks for watching. It's been a fun day. You guys were awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, so sad.
Let's get the music. Come on, baby.
You did fine. You did fine.
I choked.
You're not sure.
The left.
Dark Knight Rises was a solid
Yeah.